Hi LEGO fans!
See here everyone, Miss Granger's done it!
Continuing the Hogwarts Castle theme, we've got another classroom to explore. This time it's Charms Class with Professor Flitwick, not to be confused with the Goblin Bank Teller, Grip Hook, or this wee little fellow that gives me nightmares. Today I'm going to be unboxing, speed building, and reviewing set number 76442, Hogwarts Castle Charms Class from LEGO Harry Potter. Confusingly, only 4 years ago, LEGO released 76385 Hogwarts Moment Charms Class, so we're not exactly in uncharted territory here. This 204-piece recreation retails for 18 Great British Pounds, 20 Euros, or 20 US dollars. It comes complete with 3 magically magnificent minifigures, including an exclusive. We've got insufferable know-it-all Hermione Jean Granger, future romantic interest and complete arse Ronald Bilious Weasley, and head of the best Hogwarts house, Ravenclaw, Professor Flitwick. As well as recreating the classroom where Flitwick teaches the first years the Levitation charm, Wingardium Leviosa. The set includes a random collectible portrait and can be slid into one of the spaces beneath Hogwarts Great Hall. It also seems to have a little interactive feature which makes a feather levitate.
Don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing, the swish and stab.
Here's everything you get inside the box. We've got 3 numbered bags of LEGO, a 94-page instruction booklet, and joy of joy, the dreaded sticker sheet. I'm going to go ahead and build the 76442 Hogwarts Castle Charms Class, and today this is going to be a 60-second speed build. And here is the completed 76442 Hogwarts Castle Charms Class from LEGO Harry Potter. Build time today was just over 30 minutes, and so simple even a first year could do it. Well, maybe not a first year Slytherin. In just a moment we'll take a poke around Flitwick's classroom, get up close and personal with the minifigures, and compare them to their on-screen counterparts to see if LEGO was paying attention to the movie. We'll also check out Professor Flitwick through the ages, but before all of that, I think we need a reminder of how this storyline pans out.
One of a wizard's most rudimentary skills is levitation, or the ability to make objects fly. Do you all have your feathers? Good. Now, don't forget the nice wrist movement we've been practicing. The swish and flick. Everyone, the swish and flick. Good. Oh, and enunciate. Wingardium Leviosa. Off you go then.
Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa.
Look, stop. You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
You do it then if you're so clever. Go on.
Wingardium Leviosa. Oh, well done! See here, everyone. Miss Granger's done it! Splendid!
Wingard Leviosa.
Well done, dear. Woo! Oh.
I think we're going to need another feather over here, Professor. We'll come back to the magically magnificent minifigures in just a moment. But before revealing the secrets of Flitwick's Charms Class, let's hear it for Harry, Seamus, and of course Malfoy. And yes, he is wearing his sorting uniform. I was going to include Crabbe and Goyle, but they ate some magical muffins and fell asleep. Now we can't talk about the Charms Classroom without referencing where this scene was shot. It may look like Leavesden Studios, but it was actually shot on location. You may recognise the 4th form room of Harrow Old School in Greater London. It's believed there's been a school on this site since 1243. Not quite as old as Hogwarts, but it's certainly up there. The LEGO version isn't quite as grand, but it is recognisably Flitwick's Charms Class. One feature I really like is that this closes up into a very small footprint. This also has the added advantage of allowing Professor Flitwick's Charms Class to be swapped out for one of the other classes within this latest modular edition of Hogwarts. To enable students to come and go, there is a pretty substantial door. This incorporates a window and a keyhole. I guess not particularly useful when all the students know Alohomora. The stonework incorporates some nice texture, and then above the door we find our collectible wizard portrait tile. This is Jacunda Sykes, the first witch ever to fly across the Atlantic Ocean on a broomstick. You can even see the oak shaft 79 she used to make this amazing feat. The next section of the classroom is particularly interesting and contains authentic details seen in the movie. Not least are these wooden panels containing a selection of names and spells. You'll recognise such classics as Alohomora, Accio, Descendo, Engorgio, Ripero, and Muffliato. If you look very closely, you'll also see the names of some of the Marauders. In particular, I'll call out Moony, who went on to become Professor Lupin, and Prongs, who went on to become Harry Potter's father. The other panel adds Padfoot, also known as Sirius Black, and a very fitting charm for this lesson, Wingardium Leviosa. It also contains one of the spells which I use quite regularly with my Muggle wand. Hey Siri, Lumos. Hey Siri, Nox. Now you might think these wooden panels are something clever that J.K. Rowling threw into the book, or the movie makers decided to add to the set, but that's not true. These ancient oak panels actually exist in the 4th form room of Harrow Old School. Of course, the ones in the movie were covered in Wizarding World graffiti. The ones in Harrow contain the names of some of its most famous pupils. These include the names of British Prime Ministers including Sir Robert Peel and Lord Palmerston, and notable literary figures like Lord Byron and Anthony Trollope. In front of those decorative panels, we find the bench at which Ron and Hermione were sitting. Each student has a printed 1x2 tile with the instructions for Wingardium Leviosa. It's a nicely printed element complete with gold metallics for the Swish and Flick movement. Each student also has a feather for practicing the Levitation charm. It's a fairly common element but works well in the set. Of course, just like Harrow Old School, Hogwarts is full of shields and crests. This one, a stickered part, features the Hogwarts crest. You'll see it's composed of all 4 house animals. Even along the top of the build, LEGO has included intricate architectural elements. That continues as we approach the stack of books which Flitwick stands on to preside over his lessons. Flitwick, played by the marvellous Warwick Davis, is, put sensitively, vertically challenged. This rudimentary platform allows the pint-sized professor to be both seen and heard by his students. A jumper plate on top of the books provides somewhere for the minifigure to stand. Sure to require frequent use of the Aguamenti charm, we have a naked flame right alongside those books. Helping us to visualise those literary volumes, LEGO has used a bunch of different coloured jumper plates and tiles. At the bottom there are a couple of stickered parts, this one representing books, and in addition we have a spare feather. I think I know who's going to need that. Protruding from the pile of printed paraphernalia, we have a feather on a clear plastic pole. This is mounted on a pivot and can be manipulated from the back of the build. It provides a neat way for Flitwick to demonstrate today's lesson. Immediately behind Phileas Flitwick, we find an opening window. I guess that will be useful for letting the smoke out. Only one section of the classroom remains, and this contains a traditional chalk blackboard. I'm not smart enough to read Flitwick's handwriting, but I definitely recognise the gesture for Swish and Flick. Yes, this is the lesson plan for Flitwick's class on the Levitation charm. Removing the blackboard reveals a cosy fireplace. There's also a candle mounted on a pole. The carved detail above the fireplace is really sweet. We've got a book signifying learning, and moon and star astrological symbols. Equally, there's some nice artwork on the sticker for the fireplace. The arch, complete with shield, is a carbon copy of the one behind where Ron and Hermione were sitting. I am now noticing a slight user error with the construction of this set. That panel to the left of the blackboard should be the other way around. It's pretty obvious when you look at the back of the set. There we go, that's much better and reveals the name of another one of the Marauders. The reverse of the set is not at all exciting or decorative. I guess when you're putting this inside Hogwarts Castle, it doesn't need to be. So this is a really nice recreation of Flitwick's Charms Class. But to truly bring this back to life, we need to bring back those 3 magically magnificent minifigures. We got Professor Flitwick, Hermione Jean Granger, and Ronald Bilious Weasley. Professor Phileas Flitwick is a standout minifigure from the set and the only exclusive. Flitwick, who stands on non-posable child-sized legs, is short in stature on account of being part goblin. After graduating Hogwarts, Flitwick returned to become Charms Master and head of the best of all the houses, Ravenclaw. The torso print is brand new and custom made for Flitwick. There's more printing around the back showing the pleats in Phileas's robes. The facial print is also new, but the beard is a common element. Give him a shave? As the back of the head is exposed, we only have one facial expression, but this does nicely recreate the kindly and popular Professor. Comparing Flitwick to the character we saw in the first 2 movies, LEGO has done a good but not perfect job here. The minifigure lacks the long green robes and doesn't quite capture the sheer amount of white hair. As I alluded earlier, this is not the first time LEGO has recreated Flitwick in minifigure form. To date, we've had 6 Flitwick minifigures, and you'll notice some very distinct differences. In the first 2 movies, Flitwick had a very old appearance, and Warwick Davis had to wear heavy prosthetics, a long white beard and a pointed hat. This matches the book's description of Flitwick as an elderly wizard. When Alfonso Cuarón took over for The Prisoner of Azkaban, he wanted a more modern, grounded aesthetic. Flitwick became much younger with dark brown hair, a short moustache and no beard. It'll be interesting to see how Flitwick looks when Warwick Davis reprises his role for the new HBO series. It all started back in 2010 when Flitwick appeared in the 4842 Hogwarts Castle set. We got our next recreation of Phileas in Harry Potter Collectible Minifigures Series 1. In 2019, Phileas was hiding behind door number 18 of the LEGO Harry Potter Advent Calendar. That's the last time we saw this newer version from the later movies. Fast forward to 2021 and we got our first version of the older Phileas Flitwick. This version appeared in the 76385 Hogwarts Moment Charms Class set. Making another appearance in the Harry Potter Advent Calendar, we had another version of Phileas waiting behind door number 19 with a collectible wizard tile. That brings us full circle to our 2025 set. Moving on from Flitwick, we have everybody's favourite insufferable know-it-all, Hermione Granger. If she looks familiar, that's because she's appeared in 4 sets to date. Hogwarts Castle Potions Class, Forbidden Forest Magical Creatures, Hogwarts Castle The Great Hall, and of course this one. Being a first-year student, she has the small non-posable child's legs. These are dual moulded in black and grey to give the illusion that Hermione's wearing tights. Additionally, the girl minifigures have a skirt piece, which is a nice bonus. The Gryffindor torso is nicely printed but very common. You see this featured in about 14 different minifigures. A little printing around the back picks out the hood of Hermione's robes. The hair in reddish brown is a great fit for the character, but also very common. You'll see this on 22 minifigures in 29 sets. The facial print is mostly used for Hermione, but it's also been used for Katie Bell, Danny Dennison from the Hocus Pocus set, and Sprite from the Eternals. The facial expression is a good likeness for Hermione with a broad smile. The alternate expression is my favourite of the two, and shows Hermione looking a lot less confident. Comparing the minifigure to the character in the movie, I think LEGO nailed it. The robes are perfect even down to the placement of the badge, and they're done up just like Hermione's in the movie. While this doesn't bring anything new to the table, it is a nice little Hermione minifigure. Our final minifigure from this relatively small set is another Weasley. Yes, this is Ron, and he's even more common than Hermione. He also appears in Forbidden Forest Magical Creatures, Hogwarts Castle the Great Hall, Hogwarts Express and Hogsmeade Station, and Hogwarts Fluffy Encounter. Ron, like the other characters, also stands on the smallest size of leg. Ron is also wearing the Gryffindor house uniform, although his robes are open. With no hair to obscure the printing, you can see the dark red lining of the hood. The torso element is pretty widely used and appears on 9 minifigures in 14 sets. Even more widely used is the trademark Weasley red hair. The facial print does a nice job of capturing Ron's smile and freckles, but again I prefer the alternate, more fearful expression. When it comes to recreating the character in the movie, LEGO has again done a really good job. While I always prefer to get new versions of minifigures, this is a good choice for the set. Given the price point of the set, 3 minifigures seems pretty fair, but it would have been nice to have some more to help tell the story. At the very least, Harry and Seamus would have fit in perfectly. It's not a big set for $20, but it is a faithful recreation of the iconic scene from the 2001 movie. Yes folks, that was 24 years ago. All in all, I had a lot of fun recreating the scene. Likewise, I hope you had a lot of fun watching this short and sweet video. If you could spare a second to hit the like button, the algorithm and I would sincerely appreciate it. Anywho, thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.